Hello and welcome to Predator-Prey Dynamics in Colorado's Growing Population. So the point of this assignment was to look at predator-prey dynamics and how those two different populations affect each other. And I thought it would be a very good opportunity to look at a little bit broader system that uses the same dynamic, which is the supply and demand, essentially, of a natural system with human predators. So what we're looking at right now is the similar pattern between the human population, or the predator, and the seasonal water supply or prey on Colorado's Front Range. A little bit of background: Colorado's Front Range is experiencing a population boom, really driven by migration, urban development, economic opportunity, that sort of thing. However, the water supply here is seasonal and largely dependent on snowmelt and watershed timing, making it limited and predictable, but not infinite. The more people they are, the greater demand for this resource. Just like in natural ecosystems, when a prey becomes limited, there's a pressure on the predator population to maintain an equilibrium. This is the same thing that happens with this system. There's a unique twist here in that humans can actually change and affect the carrying capacity of the local ecosystem by doing things like permaculture, building retention and storage systems, reservoirs, underground aquifers, implementing measures that regenerate the soil and improve the carrying capacity of the soil, the food production that uses the water in the soil, or recycling. All of these things improve the carrying capacity of the water, but there's a caveat: that doesn't change the dynamic between those two predator and prey things. Because if you increase the amount of water available, or you increase the prey, then in a natural system, as in this type of system, the human population increases to meet that demand. And so even though humans in this situation can actually affect the carrying capacity and improve it, it doesn't change the dynamic unless there's an external or an additional factor that's placed to prevent the human population from reaching the carrying capacity of the local hydrology system. A couple of things: speaking of external pressures, there is the national job market that influences migration. When Colorado offers opportunity and more people come in, that affects the demand on the water, or the predator number of predators in the environment, competing predators. Climate change shifts snowfall, that affects the prey, that affects how much water is received every year. Snowmelt timing, evaporation, seasonal water outputs and inputs are stressed in a system like that. That's something that changes the prey level, the carrying capacity of the prey population. Global environmental trends like drought elsewhere can push animals into the region, which again, that affects the predator population because it's the consumption of that prey, the water. Or there are other forces that create an unpredictable pressure on either prey availability or predator behavior, such as disease, migration, habitat changes, and in this case, all of those things applied to a human system. In closing, this is a human water system, but it reflects the living predator-prey feedback loop that happens in a natural ecosystem. Even as water availability may rise through stewardship, the population expands to meet that demand. As the population expands, pressure on the water system increases, and it just keeps going up. However, that doesn't actually get rid of the problem, because just because it has a higher carrying capacity doesn't mean that it doesn't have a limited carrying capacity. So thank you so much for looking at this slightly unorthodox way of a predator-prey relationship as it relates to Colorado's growing population and the limited resource or prey of the local hydrological system. Thanks.